Hello everyone, so around a month ago I made a video about GameStop discussing why Ryan Cohen was such a big deal when it was disclosed that he purchased a significant amount of outstanding shares in GameStop. It now appears that he knew about Microsoft's intentions, as he knew and still knows one of the executives on GameStop's board very well. Today I'll look into this new development and what it means for the future of GameStop, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, welcome back to The Contrarian. I really like to talk about overall success in investing as well as going against crowd thinking mentality. So if you like these kinds of topics, just consider subscribing. Also, I want to make a disclaimer that this is not in any way to be taken as financial advice. I want to also disclose that I do have a position in GameStop right now, but I try to make my takes on things as unbiased as possible. So first off, let's look at the implications of this partnership between GameStop and Microsoft. First off, it might not appear as much on the surface as it really is, but it is quite significant for GameStop's business revenue and their profit margin on Microsoft's products that they sell. Essentially, the meat of the deal has to do with revenue sharing between Microsoft and GameStop. Right now, when GameStop sells Xbox and Xbox products, which are from Microsoft, they make around 10% profit from these sales. However, with this new deal, revenue is more spread out. Let's look at a recent article that explains this deal well on Seeking Alpha. The Xbox S currently costs around $300 and the Xbox X costs $399. We can see from Q3 of 2019, the last point new hardware sales were broken out, that GameStop had about 10% to 11%. Let's just assume 10% profit margin. This means that GameStop makes about $30 to $40 on the sale of every Xbox S and Xbox X. However, what if the customer instead opts to pay nothing up front and take advantage of the all-access Xbox offer? So this costs $25 a month for 24 months. So basically, GameStop would earn $250 to $350 each month from each sale. So over the course of 24 months, this would total $60 to $84 instead of $30 to $40. So while the revenue stream will take longer to realize for GameStop, it effectively doubles their profit margin. And this has huge potential. Not only can GameStop offer customers to pay nothing up front for these products that normally cost $300 to $400, but they can roughly double their profit margin over the long term on these products. Also, Microsoft has agreed to equip GameStop stores with tablets and other new technology that should help GameStop be able to trim operating costs as well as increase the efficiency of their retail stores. They're going to be able to have their staff be more, walking around the store instead of just being stuck behind a checkout desk. And this really brings up the question of, well, why did Microsoft decide to get in a deal like this with GameStop? On the surface, it seems like there are only benefits for GameStop right now. But that's where data from decades of operation comes into play. GameStop has strong data on their customers that Microsoft can only dream of having. GameStop has decades of operation and data behind their customers and the various ways to market to them. It would take Microsoft years to even begin to gather the level of data on gamers that GameStop already has. For this reason, it makes sense that both companies agreed to this deal, but the entire deal is just the tip of the iceberg. It turns out that this could just be the beginning of a long string of similar agreements made between GameStop and their game suppliers. As the writer of this article points out, this has no doubt caught the attention of Nintendo and Sony, the other two major suppliers for GameStop. Microsoft's warming relationship with GameStop cannot go unmatched by Nintendo and Sony. Sony and Nintendo cannot afford to have GameStop sales force pushing the Xbox All Access subscription to take advantage of the revenue sharing deal at the expense of their products. The success of this generation of consoles will have a lasting impact, especially with the differing strategies being pushed by Microsoft and Sony. There is little doubt that GameStop and Sony have already had discussions surrounding a revenue sharing agreement. I suspect GameStop's coup in getting Microsoft on board will be major motivation for Sony to finalize something soon before the release of the next-gen consoles next month. Now, whether or not this actually happens will only have to be seen, but there is the strong likelihood that this initial deal with Microsoft is a cascade that leads to more with other suppliers for GameStop. Now, you might be wondering, if all the potential for outlook for GameStop has changed so dramatically, why are there so many negative articles coming out right now? Well, here we get into the dark side of Wall Street. It turns out that GameStop's stock is the most shorted on Wall Street right now, with over 100% of the float being shorted right now. It is very likely that there are several hedge funds or large investors who are underwater right now on their short positions. Remember, with shorting a stock, you only profit if the stock falls below where you started your short position. So with GameStop rising so significantly in the last several months, this has no doubt put many of these short sellers underwater. Now, will this cause a massive short squeeze like with Volkswagen back in 2008? We really don't know. It's possible, but it's also possible that it just continues to gradually rise and short sellers just exit gradually as they begin to see that their original thesis was wrong. But if it does squeeze with over 100% of the float being short, there's virtually no limit to how high this thing could go. Just look back at Volkswagen in 2008. For brief moments in time, it was the most valuable company in the world because of the squeeze. And it eventually settled back, much lower than the peak that it got to. So needless to say, it would not be a good decision to start a short position in this right now. But again, this isn't advice. I don't want any of you guys to take any of what I say as advice, but anyway, let me know what you guys think of this new development for GameStop and their partnership with Microsoft. Do you think it's going to lead to more partnerships with other suppliers? What do you guys think of the possibility of a short squeeze on this? Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I hope to see you again.